I am a humanistic technologist. I really use technology to help human beings. And that is what we need to do. And because technology is going to rule us. So why not use that same technology to save us?
Today, I am excited to welcome Dr. Adil Dalal to the show. Now, Adil has actually agreed to come into our Gemba Academy studio here in Keller, Texas. He lives in Austin, so he drove up to record this interview in person, which was really appreciated. We don't actually get to do a lot of interviews with people literally here sitting in front of me, but today we did that, so that was a lot of fun, and I really do appreciate him taking that drive in. Now, so today is I think it's going to be an interesting podcast. I'm going to listen to it back myself because it was a very, I should say, passionate conversation at some times. We got into the whole idea of artificial intelligence being impacting lean. And so, as you'll hear, Adil is very passionate about artificial intelligence, and he does a lot of teaching on it at the university level and that sort of thing. And so we get into the whole idea of, well, the good side and the bad side, really, of artificial intelligence and what it really means for the future of lean and, quite honestly, humanity. And, there's some things that, I didn't necessarily always agree with him. And so we had a really fun conversation and it got a little passionate at times, I think, but I don't know. Sometimes it's good to have those conversations, but he's very, very well versed in this world. So I really respect him for that. And again, I do appreciate him coming in. Now, show notes for this episode can be found over at gembapodcast.com. Just look for episode 580. Again, gembapodcast.com and look for episode 580. Okay, enough from me. Let's get to the show. Adil, welcome to the Gemba Academy studio. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ron. Thank you for inviting me here.
Yeah, I'm excited. We don't actually get to do a lot of in-person interviews here. We got this fancy, recording setup that we barely ever use. But it's always fun to do them in person whenever possible. So I appreciate you coming in.
I'm driving in from Austin for you. So
wow, I appreciate that. That's fantastic. All right. Well, so you know how we like to begin all of our episodes, Adil. It's with a quote. So what do you got?
Favorite quote?
Yeah.
You are more than you can ever imagine. This is the motto of my company and what I believe, that as human beings, we are limiting ourselves. As companies, we are limiting ourselves. As nations, we are limiting ourselves. Our potential is huge, and all it takes is finding that potential.
Wow. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, hey, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your background, how you first got involved in this continuous improvement stuff that we're into, and then what you're up to these days.
Sure. Thank you. Started my journey from Mumbai, India, onto Western Michigan University. So my passion was automotive engineering. So I got into for my master's out here at Western and ended up getting a fellowship to do some research there, and actually got a couple of offers when I graduated from Hummer, and but I was in Kalamazoo and Stryker was right there. So, I just loved the culture, loved what they offered, and loved what they did for humanity. And so from an automotive background, I moved over to medical. And I think it was one of the best decisions I made. So really helped me hone into the leader I am. And Stryker, I basically ran a couple of acquisition programs, and then I was asked to transform the whole division using lean or demand flow technology. So within 8 months, our whole organization, which is over $300 million, completely transformed to a point where the data we had for 30 years had to be thrown away because we were so much better. It was not even on the same scale. So I became a big believer in lean demand flow technology. And what I found, one thing which took us, kind of stood out for me and which made me a believer on was as we were completing this, prior to doing this for 6 months, our people were not having any breaks. So even weekends they were working because we could not supply our doctors with our instruments. We were on back order.
Mm.
So they were doing overtime, and a lot of their pay came from overtime. Once we did this, there was zero overtime. And, as I was interfacing with some of the people there, the leaders, kind of the supervisors, one of the supervisors who was very well respected was walking down the hall, and I tried to avoid her. But none of the doors were open in the conference rooms. So I had to face her. And she said, Adil, I'm so glad we did this. Now I can spend my weekends with my grandchildren at home in my pajamas.
Mm.
That is the true meaning of what hit me is I did not only change the organization, but I helped, transform people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So the work-life balance, is so important. And yes, they lost the money, but there is much more important things than the money.
I actually thought you were going down the road or someone was going to complain that
That's
they
exactly,
don't make as much money now.
So that's what I thought too. And to have that interaction that stuck with me is that, look, this is a tool which can transform lives. And since then, after I transformed, I was asked to move to a division in California, and I ended up transforming 2 more divisions. There we saved, in 6 months, we saved $6 million of inventory. It was an endoscopy, very high-end camera division. And so then I said, if I can do this for a medical company, I can do it anywhere. So I started my own company, Pinnacle Process Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working all over the world in Mexico, France, Prague, Budapest, all over, literally. And I was just really enjoying training people, coaching people, transforming organizations, and ended up, working on my first doctorate, wrote about 4 books during that time. And right now I'm, still with Pinnacle, doing totally different things. Not only this, but I'm also writing a book on AI. I am also working on neuroscience. I am just this year, 3 books are coming out of mine. So 2 are already out. 1 will be out, which is called Lean AI in June.
Lean AI.
Lean AI. So I'm combining these 2 beautiful technologies together and really this is the future of operational excellence. That's what I'm creating.
Yeah, you mentioned Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Yes.
It brings back fond memories. I actually, before Gemba Academy, many, many years ago, I worked for a company called FlowServe, and they have a facility.
I remember that.
In Kalamazoo. So I've been there many times.
Okay. I remember that FlowServe.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right. Well, so you've already sort of hinted at a little bit about your interest and your passion for AI, artificial intelligence, and you mentioned lean as well. So I wanted to maybe we just kick things off with your opinions and your thoughts on how you see lean and AI sort of playing together. Whatever. What's your thoughts on the collaboration between lean and AI?
So lean has some limitations, as we all know, right? On the human side, on some of the things we do, sustainability, 5S.
Well, I wouldn't say lean has limitations. I would say human beings have limitations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The applications of this becomes challenging when humans get involved. So when AI can do some of the routine tasks much better than human beings, the whole idea of lean is to, enhance humanity. Correct? That's the whole idea, is because the culture is what matters. And when lean, feels that is a failure, because as you correctly pointed out, it's the human failure, but lean gets blamed. Correct? So when AI has some of the routine tasks covered for human beings, then it becomes so much easier for people to say, we are successful now. We can really focus on what really matters. Let the things which are not, human beings are not very good at on a consistent basis, keeping up things. Also, lean is not a predictive tool, and AI is a predictive tool. So when you go into a proactive mode, lean gets on steroids, and we get so much better results with that. I'll give you an example is, error proofing, Poka-yoke. Right now, Poka-yoke, we need jigs and fixtures, we need some things, and you are still not absolutely sure sometimes, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And with AI, you can get real-time feedback. You're getting real-time feedback, you're helping the operator, and that is what Poka-yoke was designed to do. When it was designed, the whole idea, Poka-yoke itself means idiot proofing.
Mistake proofing, I would say. Probably.
Well, yes, but if you really look at the idea, it was behind that was that they didn't want human beings to look like idiots when they make mistakes. That was the whole, premise behind Poka-yoke. Now we're taking it to the next level and saying, hey, not only are we preventing it, we are giving you guidance on a real-time basis and a proactive basis. That makes this tool so much more powerful. And we're just, it's like, taking version 2 of Lean, bringing it into a totally different realm. And to me, that's the future. This is, AI is here to stay. There's no doubt about it, correct? And why not use the power of AI? Because, that is the true kind of, as Lean evolves, this will be the right way, the right partner for it to evolve with.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in AI and use it every day, obviously. I guess I would like to explore, maybe before I even ask any more questions, maybe give some more examples of what you're talking about. Because I'm not completely sold on your premise. We have a good conversation.
No,
so I'd like to hear your ideas on what you think, some Lean tools, some AI Lean tools, or however you want to talk about it.
So, basically just like look at a value stream map, correct? You're creating a value stream map. We, as human beings, we can do a lot of analysis on it. We can come up with some ideas. When you actually put it into AI recognizes a value stream map. So I do workshops on that. And it gives you a very detailed analysis of what can be done for the future state. So it will give you all the numbers, not only that, it may take you some time to calculate that. AI can do that much faster. And will be, obviously, if you don't give the right numbers, you're going to get the wrong data or the wrong results. But if you do it right, the power of AI can really take a value stream map itself into a whole different level.
Well, okay, let's talk about that. I mean, I've done hundreds of value stream map exercises and workshops. And and so like back in the day, it would be, we would walk to Gemba, back to front. We'd got our Post-it notes or whatever on the brown paper and we put it up and, in 2-3 hours, we've got the current state map drawn up, with everything, all the information. Now, obviously, you could use things like iGraphics or whatever to draw it electronically if you want to. Once you figure out the software, it's pretty fast and does all the math for you and so forth. So talk to me about, like, in your world 5 years from now, we have a factory making widgets, perhaps, right? Do we still have a factory making widgets, or I don't know? Or
absolutely. I think we are never going to get away from the
Are there human beings in a factory?
That is a very touchy topic. That is the other side of AI, which actually next week I'm going to be in Brussels on a TED Talk talking about the negative side of AI on humanity, because I really feel there is going to be tremendous impact on humanity with AI, especially from a neuroscience point of view. So I'm going to.
I just feel like human beings, the trajectory I see is people won't be able to think, people won't be able to problem solve. Our kids are going to be so lazy, they're just going to look at their phone and ask a question, and there it is.
People have not done scientific. I've actually done scientific research on this, and I'm going to present that. So there is a lot of science behind why, and the kind of connecting the dots and extrapolating it. You'll be able to see exactly what, so that's what so I'm absolutely pro AI, but, if you like a tool, you also have to be very honest that there is also a negative. And Bill Gates, the question you ask, 5 years from now, will there be widgets being made by human beings? That's a very, very important question.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Gates recently said that 10 years from now, we won't need lawyers, doctors, human beings will not be needed.
Mm-hmm.
So just see the impact. I mean, Bill Gates knows what he's talking about because he's seeing it at that 30,000 foot level, which we don't have access to.
Mm.
Correct? And I'm, from my research, he may be off by a few years, plus or minus.
Mm-hmm.
But, it is coming our way, and humanity better wake up.
So what is a human being going to do in 10 years? Just sit around and be overweight, or maybe won't be overweight because I'll have some widget that we can hit.
But
I don't know.
That is kind of something which I am trying to explain to people. We better be prepared for that, and we need. I don't like government intervention in these things,
Mm-hmm.
but at some point they need to be alert to what it can do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot leave humanity.
What's that movie? Oh, Wall-E or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And Ron, just think about this, just last year, the U.S. Surgeon General said social media is an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? It's causing mental illness, anxiety, depression, all these things for our youngsters.
Mm-hmm.
25 years it took us to realize that.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. AI is doing that in less than 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So just extrapolate that data and see what that change is going to be in a few years. So we have to be alert. But again, AI in the use of healthcare, medicine, problem solving, which humans cannot do. AI is a great mentor. But
is it analogous to the computer?
Yes,
the computer
that's what
came.
People
were scared of the computer, and
yes,
So,
exactly. And that calculator.
Yeah,
people thought, we will forget how to do additions, but
the phone. That's a
but
cell
you're
phone.
not looking at See, that's still your critical thinking, your judgment, your prefrontal cortex is still in use.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is when you're not doing critical thinking, when you're delegating that task to AI, what is happening is your brain is not developing, it's not making the connections which are absolutely needed for what, and at least at our age, we have already made those connections. We can always go back to that highway and write that.
Yeah.
Right? But what
my
about the kids?
7-year-old might not be able to.
That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. So that is why I think the TED Talk I'm doing next week is going to be tremendously important to all of us, and
and don't worry about spoiling your TED Talk because this podcast won't come out for almost a month. So your TED Talk will be over by then. So if you want to share anything, you can.
That's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, maybe talk a little bit about your vision of how you see operational excellence looking 5 years, 10 years from now, something like that.
Another good question. Operational excellence is basically going to have a total transformation, correct? We are going to go from reactive to a predictive to a proactive model. We are going to be looking into the future, and we're going to be fixing problems before they occur.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to be the major shift which will happen in operational excellence. So, think about someone who's trying to kind of, go in and kind of design some kind of a pilot line. Mm-hmm. AI can jump in and help you out tremendously. Mm-hmm. It can do all your simulations. And we can do that. I've done that. Whenever I put a line, I actually simulate it.
iGraphics is doing this
exactly,
many years ago.
40% improvement, even before you put in the line.
Mm-hmm.
But this will be beyond that. This will be way beyond. The scale will change, where it's going to be able to identify problems ahead of time, help you correct it ahead of time, and then help you real time. The real time is the key thing, correct? We don't have tools right now. Everything is kind of, there is a time lapse before something happens and you make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
That time lapse is going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get the alert and the decision will be made by AI what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at Amazon today, correct? They have 50% robots, 50% human beings in that operation. So we're already having that, correct? In bigger companies, they're already doing that. And, as you correctly said, what will human beings do? We need to be prepared for higher level functioning. So one of the books which just came out was called The V Factor. I'm trying to make human beings understand, so look at that quote which I gave you. You are more than what you can, you're more than what you, think you are, correct? The reason I say that is because we have some powerful tools built into us. We are not using those simulators. The visualization is such an important tool which we are not using right now. That is what, Gemba. What is Gemba? What is Go See? But we are just seeing, we are not really observing to that effect. A lot of my programs, when I do that, I really don't need a software to manage even a $1 billion program or a project, because I am trying to do that in my head, is the permutation combinations, and that came naturally to me. And I found out during one of the leadership assessments that is one of my top strengths. So then I backtracked that and I said, how do I create that, duplicate that in other people? So that is I am a humanistic technologist. I really use technology to help human beings. And that is what we need to do. And because technology is going to rule us. So why not use that same technology to save us?
You said technology is going to rule us? That's a pretty provocative statement. What do you mean by rule?
It is. Look at your cell phone. Doesn't it rule you?
Well,
when every ping comes in and you get alert, Yeah,
yes and no. I have a personal role, even with our kids. When we get home, we put our phones in a certain place at a certain time. And we don't have phones for the rest of the way. I would argue, no, it doesn't rule me.
If you, yes, and those are the discipline you need in life. Yeah. And not everyone can put that in.
Right. Yeah, and but I think it's careful. It's dangerous to make, statements that, certain things are going to rule everyone. I really feel that technology is kind of today. It's anything you do is technology involved. What are you doing which is not technology involved? Tell me. Including you go to the bathroom. Watch my kid's soccer game.
Yeah, there is no technology. There are drones around. There are possibility.
They play at the Keller soccer field over here.
Okay.
I see church that. On Sunday.
Yeah,
and
that is
we
one
worship
area.
God, and our priest is up there, and
correct. But they're live streaming sometimes. They're doing a lot of the things.
Some are, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, it's pervasive. Yeah. It's pervasive. And, this, the reason it's called a cell phone, correct? We are in that cell. We are actually in the cell, right? The joke is before, when the phone was the regular phone, okay, it was wired and we were free. Today, that phone is free and we are wired to it. So that is the change which has happened to us. And of course, it has a lot of benefits. There is a huge benefit to, efficiency has improved, but convenience has improved for us. But
you can order anything you want on Amazon and have it later that day.
Exactly. And we are addicted to that, right? And our expectations of supply chain has changed so much.
Right.
With that. Amazon has changed our way of thinking completely on supply chain. Yeah. Our expectations have changed completely. Yeah. So just think that is technology. What they are using is technology today. Everything is on the cloud. Everything is, now. Now is look at the current generation, look at Uber, look at Airbnb, look at all these models, Netflix. Everything is technology. What we use,
in your vision, Uber, will it have a person driving a car? There's already some autonomous vehicles.
It's already
right?
autonomous vehicles. Yeah. It's just a matter of time. Yeah. It just, once things fall into place, it's just a matter. Flying taxis are already becoming a reality in places like Dubai and other places. So these are things which will, and humanity, Siron, one thing we have not understood very well. Okay, when was the first industrial revolution?
A long time ago.
200 years ago.
Yeah, you could argue even before that, but depending on
say 17 something or 18, around that time frame. So human beings have gone from being a craftsman to a spaceman in 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
But the planet has existed for 4.6 billion years.
Mm-hmm.
So in 200 years, humanity, so if you count that fraction, it is 0.000004% of the time we have been industrialized on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And we have had a very steep climb with technology.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that going to go? It can go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Because it's such a steep climb that we cannot, managing that becomes very, very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
We're on a complete vertical trajectory right now with technology, and especially with kind of Industry 4.0 and 5.0 coming in. It has been a tsunami of technology which has come in. So if I say technology is ruling us, I mean it, because everywhere you look, it's all technology. What we are doing here is technology, correct? So just think about that. It's some technology is very powerful and we need it. Humanity has improved because of it, but it can also be destroyed by technology.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of keep our eyes open on which direction we're going with technology.
Are you hopeful for the future?
I am cautiously hopeful, and that's why I'm being a voice for being alert, I'm a small guy trying to, make a small change.
Mm-hmm.
But if that spreads, if people understand what I'm trying to say, we need to go. The decision makers are the ones who are going to make that change.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it took 25 years for them to realize social media was bad for our children.
Mm-hmm.
How long are they going to wait with AI and other tools which are really bad for our children?
Mm-hmm.
Correct? How long?
I don't know. Too long.
Yeah, it'll be detrimental, right? We lost a generation.
Mm-hmm.
We lost a generation into a lot of different, issues. And if you see what, so again, I don't want to take us into a negative path. I'm very optimistically hopeful, because humanity has come through at every point.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever there has been some dangers, we have pulled through.
Mm-hmm.
And, there are people amongst us who understand that, using technology for the right things is the right way to go for humanity.
Yeah. Yeah. Only because you think about just in a medical profession, technology is where healing the body
yeah, exactly.
much more effectively than we could, 100 years ago or something
Absolutely.
like that.
So. And look at, in the area of medicine, what AI can do is customize. It can take a drop of your blood and customize a medicine for you. How powerful is that?
Yeah.
They can print your name on the capsule and send it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Within, that is what mass customization is. Mass customization is, it's not only on Nike shoes or Nike, where they can make it to your size, to what you want, or a car. You can do that with medicine, with AI, using your blood samples.
Mm-hmm.
With 3D printing, they can print your body parts using your stem cells.
Mm-hmm.
How powerful, how cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
That is true technology. I mean, that is correct. You can have a spare Ron somewhere waiting in case something fails. Yeah.
Bring the next Ron out.
Bring Ron 2 out from the freezer.
We're laughing about it, but it's also horrifying.
It's horrifying, right?
Yeah. Oh, my word.
So there are positive things, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so most of our audience right now is, what the hell are you guys talking about? Lean and Six Sigma and all this. We're talking about the end of humanity and AI robots. So bring it. I know you obviously
they'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah. No, it's good to change things up every so often. I have fun with this. But let's get back to some Lean, some Six Sigma.
Sure.
Talk a little bit about some of the transformations that you've been involved. Maybe one that I don't know. Maybe, how about this one? What's one that maybe it doesn't have to be like, oh, I saved $1 million,
Right,
because
right.
who cares? Honestly, nobody
Correct.
cares. Like, but what are you like one that you're most proud of?
So there was one in Texas I was doing. Actually, a couple of them, I would say. One of them was where they were making these plastic, clamshells and other things, and they have these 1-ton rolls of plastic coming in, and they were putting it on these risers, getting it to the area, taking up kind of a overhead pulley, holding on to it, putting it on the floor. It damaged the material. It sometimes injured the people quite often. And then they would put it on at the back of the machine and then feed it through the machine, so that at the other end you'll have an injection mold to build those parts. Now, I was running a Kaizen event with 10 people there, and we were actually focused on the front side of it, where we were, the people who were boxing it to bring it out and to put it on a conveyor and everything it was becoming very tiresome for them.
Mm-hmm.
So as I was looking at that, I'm looking at this whole process of what they were doing, and I'm going, oh my God, and these people were waiting for risers. It has to have 2 people pull it from different location and put it. And they had kind of at the end of the machine, there was a roller which was feeding it in. I said, what if we don't use the risers, correct? We just basically, we don't use this machine which is feeding it. We just use the risers and use them to feed the machine.
Mm.
So the risers came in. It's a 2-prong. They first laughed at me. They all laughed at me. They said, we've been doing this for 20 years, So they thought I was totally joking in the Kaizen event.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, just humor me. But worst thing is,
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So we cordoned off. We put a tape around the area. We had a couple of extra people on Kaizen. We were all set on the front side. So as they started putting it on the riser and rolling it, the top one ran like a champ. Not a single adjustment needed to be made. They were like, their eyes were wide open. Then the lower one had some adjustments to be made. It didn't work because of the angles, it was not working to feed properly into the thermoforming machine.
Mm-hmm.
We just made a few adjustments, shimmed it up, and kind of held the bottom riser up a little bit. And boy, it just started running. They were totally shocked. And they were about to buy the, $500,000 of more risers and everything. They were trying to do a lot more, and this just solved a lot of their issues.
Mm-hmm.
And they have many more plants like these. They had 14 more plants with similar issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's sometimes, now I'm not an expert in thermoforming this is the first time I'm looking at this process. But that outside view and just thinking lean is, why are we wasting all these steps?
Mm.
Correct? It transformed this division completely, and made it. So simplicity is the greatest thing. To me, I call lean as the science of simplicity. Why is it not just simplicity? Because simplicity can also create some issues. So the science is, if it's too simple, it will create problems. If it's complicated, it will create some chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So the science is exactly tune it into that simplicity, which gives you the best result.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah, I guess the only thing that what were your thoughts like on that event there where you had the idea? I guess my only thing to me would have made the story even better is if some of the team members came up with the idea. You know what I mean? Because it was the unfortunate thing is when the smart consultant comes in and
this is
gives
where
the answer.
Problem is, Ron, is that when you are staying in one area for too long, your eyes get very much adjusted to that. You don't see the waste. You don't see the problems. And that is why this power of visualization, that's why I have special exercises for them to retrain the brain. This is about your brain.
Right.
Your brain is designed for efficiency and convenience. It is not designed to take you unless you challenge it. Doesn't
Well, yeah, this is where, like, we mentioned value stream mapping earlier. I mean, John Shook called it learning to see, right?
Exactly.
Like, winning years
That is
ago, the book
exactly.
was written, right? And
Yes,
it's like
yes.
teaching people to draw the waste on the wall. They see the waste. What's a better way? So, that's, I guess my only thing is, like, I don't like to ever go in and give the answer of,
I
here's
never
how
do
you
that.
should do it.
I never do that. That's why what I said is humor me, right? Let's try it out. It was an experiment that we did. I never knew that it would work.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's an experiment, and I'll give you another similar story where I was working. So I was a consultant for a company, and they were about to throw our company out because the previous consultants didn't do, what they were not getting the ROI. So my manager sent me in and said, so this is a wire making, these wires which go into our electrical, and they were coating them. So there was ground coating, red, black, all those. So it's a kind of a mile-long wire going through, and so they were going from a red to a white wire. And they had to cut the wire. They had to kind of clean out the whole hopper with the paint. And basically it was taking them almost 2 or 3 hours for a setup change. So again, we're brainstorming on what we can do. And one of the ideas, I said, hey, I've never seen this process before. But what if we were to allow this paint to just run out and put the new paint in? Again, they laughed at me. Said, you can't do that. So he said again, let's try it out. Let's experiment. So at one point they had the red paint coming through, and we put the white paint. For some time we got pink wire. And then we started getting white wire. No need to cut it, no need to clean. Everything worked out. So the guy on the first day who really hated lean, he was like a hostage in my training and in my Kaizen. On the last day, he stood up when the report out on Friday. He's telling the C-level people, hey, why didn't you guys think about this? For so many years we've been doing this and wasting 3 hours every time we have a changeover. Okay, you guys are the smart guys here. Why didn't you make, or why didn't you do this decision before? So his eyes opened. He says, from next time, I want to be leading these Kaizens because this is true change happening in our organization.
Yeah.
So this is how again, sometimes their eyes are so, and the brain is so attuned to what happens, they forget to see outside that box. And this is humanity. This is the side of humanity which we are not understanding. That's why understanding the neuroscience of lean is also very important. Correct? And I teach that too. I look at the neuroscience of how our brain works, because that is very critical to understand them. Otherwise, we'll be coming up with the same problems and trying to solve, in a different way and come up with, the wrong answers. So that is my passion, is to really look at how we could take lean. Like one of the things I have done is I've taken lean into the human side, the iLean technology. So I've developed iLean, which is actually using all the lean tools from to help the human beings. 5S, all the tools of lean, Poka-yoke and others. How can we use on ourselves? And I've actually created a course on that. So this is very important for us to look at lean in a very different way.
Yeah.
I've also done lean for kids, lean for teens. Correct? My kids with their friends created their own model of lean for kids. So how do we, because I feel when I go and teach a CEO on 5S and simple things which, are fairly straightforward actually. Okay, why not teach them in school? Why not teach them to your 7-year-old? Imagine what they will be when they grow up.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. No, for sure.
This is a curriculum. This is curriculum building. This has to be in schools. And I'm not seeing that.
Yeah. No,
I'm
I
not
agree.
seeing that. So, leaders like us in lean need to, go up the chain and say, guys, you're doing Dodge and everything. I know that's a great thing. But do the fundamentals too at the same time.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. For sure.
If you show our lean in government seems like a oxymoron, but we need that now, and we are waking up to that fact.
Yeah.
So
good stuff. Well, hey, I really appreciate you coming in. I know it was a long drive, and most people just jump on a Zoom call, but I really appreciate you coming in. Maybe if you have any final words of wisdom or any last words that you want to get out there, and then for sure, I want you to repeat how people can connect with you if they want to.
Sure, absolutely. I don't think I have any wisdom. I'm just a school of hard knocks. So I think lean is such a powerful tool. I have written a paper on lean where it said, from the White House to our house, we all need a little bit of lean. Mm. Because I've visited over 200 companies around the globe. I've never seen a company which is perfect, which doesn't have waste. Correct. Even Toyota, you go through today, you'll see the waste, and they're the champions of lean. So we all know that it's a journey, it's a continuous journey. Mm-hmm. And the day you say you are done with lean, you are actually starting over, because you're never done with lean. Mm-hmm. So that is the bottom line. So.
All right. And what's the best way for folks to connect with you? LinkedIn or something like this?
LinkedIn, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Adil Dalal.
We'll put your link in there.
Yeah, put my LinkedIn, a website is pinnacleprocess.com.
Okay.
So go out there, and LinkedIn will be the best thing to connect with me. Awesome. But it was a pleasure, Ron. It was worth the drive, and I would not have it any other way.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Whether you've been on the continuous improvement journey for many years, or perhaps you're just getting started, Gemba Academy is here to support you. And while we're best known for our more than 1,500 Lean and Six Sigma teaching and virtual tour videos, we also have a team of experienced Lean and Six Sigma practitioners available for one-on-one coaching, as well as a variety of Lean and Six Sigma certification options. To learn more and to schedule a demo, head on over to GembaAcademy.com.